We continue to read the Road Traffic Regulations 2022. Section 3, Duty of Owner or Operator of Motor Vehicle. Every owner or operator of a motor vehicle shall ensure that the provisions of these regulations relating to the operation of that motor vehicle are complied with. Part 2, Fitness, Registration and Licensing of Motor Vehicles. Section 4, Certificate of Fitness. Subsection 1. A person who desires to obtain a certificate of fitness to facilitate the registration and licensing of a motor vehicle shall A. Pay the fee specified in Part B of the third schedule, and B. Present the motor vehicle to the authority for examination. So in that case, you pay the fee at the tax office, and then you will take the motor vehicle to the examination depot. Subsection 2. The authority, upon being satisfied that the motor vehicle is roadworthy, that is, after they examine it, and is otherwise in a fit and proper condition, shall issue a certificate of fitness in the form set out in Form A1 in Part A of the third schedule to the applicant. So we will soon reach the third schedule. Subsection 3. The authority shall not issue a certificate of fitness in respect of any motor vehicle which does not comply with the provisions of Part 3. So remember, before you take the motor vehicle to the examination depot, you should yourself or get a mechanic to examine the vehicle so that they don't turn it down at the examination depot, because you would have to go and pay to correct that and pay another examination fee and spend more time going back there. Subsection 4. A certificate of fitness that is A. Granted for commercial carrier, public passenger vehicles, and trailers shall be valid for a period not exceeding 6 months. B. If the certificate of fitness is granted for any other motor vehicle, shall be valid for a period stated on the certificate, which shall not exceed 2 years. Well, in my case, motor car certificate of fitness is valid for 1 year, but here it says not exceeding 2 years. I'm thinking that probably the 2 year would apply to a motor vehicle that is new or fairly new. Subsection 5. A motor vehicle that is being driven on a road from a port of entry in Jamaica, that means you just take it off the wharf, shall not require a certificate of fitness and shall be considered to be driven on a road for the purpose of having its fitness tested in conformity with Section 13, subsection 7 of the Act, that means of the Road Traffic Act. Subsection 6. The requirements as to the fitness of a motor vehicle which are to be met pursuant to Section 9, subsection 1 of the Act, in order to avoid the revocation of a certificate of fitness include. Alright, so if you have a certificate of fitness and the motor vehicle examiner stops you on the road, or you carry it, or they, for some reason, inspect your vehicle, they can revoke that certificate of fitness. Now, here, the requirements for it not to be revoked include A. whether the motor vehicle is in compliance with the provisions of Part 3. B. The level of exhaust or smoke emitted from the motor vehicle. So, too much exhaust, or you can see smoke coming from it. They can stop you and revoke that certificate of fitness. So you'd have to go and fix that problem. C. Whether the motor vehicle has been modified in a way which is not consistent with the requirements of the Act. Okay. Specified, Section 5, specified motor vehicles. Subsection 1. Specified motor vehicles to be presented for certificate of fitness. Subsection 1. The owner of a public passenger vehicle, right, buses and taxis, shall cause the vehicle to be examined annually by the authority to certify compliance with the construction requirements of the vehicle, and where the authority is satisfied that the requirements are met, the authority shall issue a certificate to the owner of the vehicle in the form set out in Form L in Part A of the third schedule and payment of the fee specified in Part B of the third schedule. Subsection 2. Where the authority has reason to believe that a vehicle is being operated on a road that does not comply with the provisions of Part 3, the authority may by notice in writing require the owner of the vehicle to submit that vehicle for examination. Alright, it says where the authority has reason to believe that a vehicle is being operated on a road that does not comply. This sounds like it is the road that does not comply. Maybe it should be in a manner that does not comply. Alright. Subsection 3. So here, being driven in a manner that does not comply. It possibly could be where it's a private motor vehicle but you're carrying passengers, you're on robot with the vehicle, or it could be that you're carrying commercial goods or heavy loads, or using it for illegal racing. Could possibly be those. 3. The owner of a motor vehicle shall within 7 days of being required to do so by notice in writing, signed by or on behalf of the authority, right, they write to you, the transport authority sends a notice to you in writing. They shall submit the vehicle for examination at the place specified in the notice. It could be that they stop you on the road, look at your vehicle, and then write the document and give to you on the spot for you to go to the examination depot. Right? Section 6. Assessing engine capacity of motor vehicle. Subsection 1. For the purposes of registering a motor vehicle, the cylinder capacity of that motor vehicle, while deriving its motive power wholly from an internal combustion engine by a cylinder or cylinders, shall be taken to be so wholly by internal combustion engine. That means it's not a hybrid vehicle that uses the internal combustion engine plus an electric motor. Alright, shall be taken to be A. In the case of a single cylinder engine, well, single cylinder engine that sounds like a motorbike, The cylinder capacity attributable to the cylinder of the engine. B. In the case of an engine having two or more cylinders, the sum of the cylinder capacity attributable to the separate cylinders. 2. The cylinder, subsection 2, the cylinder capacity attributable to any cylinder shall be equal A. In the case of a cylinder having a single piston, to the product expressed in cubic centimeters. So here they're talking about 1000 cc, 800 cc, 1500 cc. 1500 cc is the same as 1.5 liter. 2000 cc same as 2 liter. 1800 cc is the same as 1.8 liters, and so on. So expressed in cubic centimeters of the square of the internal diameter of such cylinder measured in centimeter, and the distance through which the piston associated with that cylinder moves during 1/2 of a revolution of the engine, measured in centimeters multiplied by 0.7854. So you're looking at movement between top and bottom dead center of the piston. B. In the case of a cylinder having more than one piston, to the sum of the products expressed in cubic centimeters of the square of the internal diameter of each part of that cylinder in which a piston moves, measured in centimeters, and the distance through which the piston associated with that diameter moves during 1/2 of a revolution of the engine, measured in centimeters multiplied by 0.7854. Now you see they come up with this number 0.7854. It's from mathematics in calculating the area of a circle, because the piston and cylinder are circular. It's pi divided by 4. The area of the circle is pi times the radius squared, pi r squared. If you consider the diameter instead of the radius, then if the diameter is 1 unit and you say the radius is half the diameter, in that case, if you say pi d squared, you're looking at pi times radius over 2 squared. The radius, I said the diameter was 1 unit. The radius is 1 unit, I should say. In that case, you're looking at pi times 1 over 2 squared. Half squared is a quarter. So in that case, pi is divided by 2 squared, which is 4. So pi over 4 gives you the 0.7854. So it's really the area of the piston multiplied by the height between bottom dead center and top dead center of the movement of the piston, to give you the centimeter cube. Alright, so in that case, you to give you the volume capacity of the cylinder, I should say. Subsection 3. In measuring a cylinder for the purpose of calculating cylinder capacity and in calculating cylinder capacity, fractions of a centimeter are to be taken into account. This is a fraction of a centimeter, so you don't round to the nearest centimeter. You can use 0.5, for example, 15.5, 10.2, and so on. For the purposes of subsection 4, for the purposes of registering an electric motor vehicle, reference shall be made to the motive power in kilowatts. So 1 kilowatt is 1,000 watts. An electric iron uses about 1,000 watts of power. Microwave 1,000 watts. That's 1 kilowatt or a little more. So the power in kilowatts from the electric motor of the motor vehicle. Alright. Remember, the JPS measure your power, your energy used per month in kilowatt hours, which is kilowatt multiplied by hours. Alright. So that's motive power of electric motor in kilowatts. Normally, you hear power of engine in horsepower. 1 horsepower is about 746 watts, which is 0.746 kilowatts. Alright. Subsection 5. For the purposes of registering a hybrid motor vehicle, reference shall be made to both the cylinder capacity of that motor vehicle and the motive power from the electric motor of that motor vehicle. We'll look at section 7 in our next video.